My half-brother spent years calling me Dad's mistake while flaunting his inheritance. But at our father's will reading, I stood up, read a DNA test out loud, and what happened next left the room in total silence, with a truth no one was ready to hear. I'm Rose, 28, barely making rent and still figuring out how to adult. I'm a freelance journalist, which sounds cool until you see my bank account. Most days, I'm hunched over my laptop in my tiny Capitol Hill apartment, chasing deadlines for articles nobody reads. Seattle's rain drums on my window, a constant reminder I can't afford to fix the leak in the corner. But that's not why I'm writing this. I need to get this off my chest because my life just got flipped upside down, and I'm not sure how to feel. My dad, Henry Walsh, died last week. Heart attack, no warning. 1 minute he's this big-shot entrepreneur running his tech empire from a Bellevue mansion. The next, he's gone. I hadn't seen him in months. Growing up, he was more like a guest star in my life, popping in with gifts, then vanishing back to his real family. That's what Ethan, my half-brother, called it. His family. Not mine. Ethan's 32, a real estate agent with a smile that sells condos and a tongue that cuts deeper than you'd expect. We share the same dad, different moms. His mom, Sienna, is all high heels and higher standards, the kind of woman who'd plan a gala for a dog's birthday. My mom, Camila, is the opposite. Retired librarian, soft-spoken, raised me alone in a cramped duplex. And then never let me forget the difference. "You're the mistake, Rose," he'd say, smirking, when we were kids. Just the kid Dad didn't mean to have. I'd laugh it off, or try to, but it stuck. Like gum on your shoe, you know? You can scrape, but it's still there. Dad's funeral was yesterday, and I'm still raw from it. I stood in the back of the church, feeling like I didn't belong. Sienna was up front, dabbing her eyes with a monogrammed hanky, while Ethan shook hands like he was running for mayor. Nobody invited me to the family pew. I wore my only black dress, too tight from stress eating, and clutched Mom's hand. She whispered, "You're here for him, not them." But was I? Dad sent checks, sure, but he never fought for me. Never told Ethan to shut up when he called me illegitimate at Thanksgiving. I wanted to grieve, but all I felt was empty. Ethan caught me outside after the service. It was drizzling, classic Seattle, and my hair was frizzing like a bad metaphor. He leaned against his shiny Audi, tie loosened, looking like he owned the world. "What are you doing here, Rose?" he said, not even trying to hide the sneer. "Hoping for scraps? Dad didn't owe you anything." I froze. My throat tightened like I was 10 again, hearing him laugh when I tripped at Dad's birthday party. I wanted to scream, "I'm his daughter too," but I just muttered, "I'm here to say goodbye," and walked away. Why do I always let him win? I got home soaked and shaky and called Ava. She's my best friend, a graphic designer with a mouth as sharp as her Photoshop skills. "Ethan's a prick," she said, slurping coffee over the phone. "You gotta stop letting him walk all over you." Easier said than done. I told her about the funeral, how Sienna didn't even look at me, how I felt like a ghost in my own dad's life. Ava went quiet, then said, "Rose, you deserve better. Dig into it." I laughed, bitter. What, like Dad left me a secret apology in his will? But her words stuck. That night I couldn't sleep. The rain was louder than usual and my neighbor's dog wouldn't quit barking. I dug through a shoebox under my bed, old photos, birthday cards, stuff Mom saved from when I was little. I found a letter from Dad, mailed years ago when I was in college. The paper was creased, ink faded, but his handwriting was clear. "Rose, there's things I haven't told you. Secrets I kept to protect you. One day, I'll explain." Protect me from what? My stomach twisted. Dad wasn't perfect, but he wasn't a liar. Was he? This morning, my phone buzzed at 6. Clara Evans, Dad's lawyer, sounding way too calm for Dawn. "Rose, the will reading's tomorrow. You should be there." Her voice had this edge, like she was holding back. "Is something wrong?" I asked, rubbing sleep from my eyes. She paused, just a second, but enough to make my pulse jump. "Just come," she said. I hung up, staring at my ceiling. Clara's not chatty, but she's never cryptic either. What's she not saying? Now I'm sitting here typing this, trying to make sense of it. Ethan's voice keeps echoing in my head. You're not real family. I've heard it my whole life, and I'm sick of it. But what if he's right? What if Dad's will just proves I was never enough? Or what if there's more? That letter, Clara's tone, it's probably nothing, right? Just me hoping for something that isn't there. Still, I can't shake this feeling, like I'm standing on the edge of something big. Tomorrow's the will reading. I don't know what's coming, but I'm done feeling small. Ethan doesn't get to decide who I am anymore. I barely slept last night. My head was spinning, replaying that letter, Clara's weird tone on the phone. What was I walking into? By morning, my coffee was cold, and I was pacing my apartment, stomach in knots. The will reading was in a few hours, and I couldn't shake this feeling like I was about to open a door I couldn't close. I threw on jeans and a sweater, grabbed my bag, and headed out. Typical. The lawyer's office was in a fancy building downtown, all glass and sharp angles. I felt out of place, like I was crashing someone else's life. Ethan was already there, lounging in a leather chair, scrolling his phone. Sienna sat next to him, her perfume so strong it made my eyes water. Neither looked at me when I walked in. Clara nodded from behind her desk, her face unreadable. "Let's begin," she said, pulling out a thick folder. My heart was pounding so loud I swore everyone could hear it. She started reading legal stuff about assets, properties, numbers that made my head spin. Ethan was smirking, probably counting his millions already. Then Clara paused, reached into her briefcase, and pulled out a sealed envelope. "This was Henry's request," she said, voice steady but slow. Clara slit the envelope open, but before she could read anything, Ethan's phone buzzed. He muttered something and stepped out. Sienna followed, fussing about his schedule. Clara glanced at me, then set the envelope down. "We'll wait," she said, but I couldn't. The room felt too small, like the walls were closing in. I stared at that envelope, sitting there like it held my whole life. Clara got a call and stepped into the hall, leaving me alone. My hands were shaking. Don't judge me, okay? I'm not proud of what I did next. I grabbed the envelope, heart racing, and slipped out the side door to the stairwell. It was quiet there, just me and the hum. I tore it open, my fingers clumsy, and pulled out a single sheet. DNA test results, 2 names, mine and Ethan's. I scanned the page and my breath caught. I'm Henry's daughter, 100%. Ethan, 0, not a drop of Dad's blood. I read it again, then again, waiting for it to make sense. It didn't. My legs gave out. I sank onto the steps, the paper crinkling in my hands. Ethan wasn't Dad's son. All those years he called me a mistake, a nobody, and he was the one who didn't belong. I wanted to laugh or scream or maybe both, but then it hit me. Dad knew. He'd known for years, maybe forever. Why didn't he say anything? Why let Ethan tear me down my whole life? My chest ached like someone had punched through it. I shoved the paper in my pocket and stumbled back to the office, head spinning. Clara was there, frowning. "Everything okay?" she asked. I nodded, but my face must have given me away. I drove straight to Mom's place after. She was in her garden, clipping roses, looking so calm I almost lost it. I didn't even say hi, just blurted, "Did you know about Ethan?" She froze, her clippers hovering midair. "No what?" she said, but her voice was too soft, too careful. I pulled out the DNA results, hands trembling. That he's not Dad's. That I am. Her face crumpled, and she sat on the porch steps. Heart rose, she whispered. She admitted it. Dad had the tests done years ago when I was a kid. He'd suspected Sienna cheated, and he was right, but he kept it quiet. "For stability," Mom said. "Stability?" I laughed, sharp and ugly. "What about me? Why didn't you tell me?" She reached for my hand, but I pulled back. "I thought it'd hurt you more," she said. "Hurt me more? I was already hurting my whole damn life." I left her there, tears in her eyes, and drove to Ava's. My hands were shaking so bad I could barely hold the wheel. Ava opened her door, took one look at me, and pulled me inside. I nodded, but my throat was tight. I should feel good, right? But I don't. Ava leaned forward, eyes fierce. "Screw that. He's been awful to you forever. Use this, make him eat his words." She was right, But I wasn't sure. Ethan's party was tomorrow night, some big bash at the estate to celebrate his inheritance. He didn't know I had the truth in my pocket. I could walk in there, show everyone, ruin him. Part of me wanted to. God, I wanted to see his face when he realized he'd lost everything. But another part, the part that still remembered us as kids, before he turned mean, wasn't so sure. Could I do this? Blow up his life like he'd blown up mine? I sat there, staring at the DNA paper on Ava's coffee table, my beer untouched. Tomorrow was coming fast. What the hell was I going to do? I didn't sleep, how could I? That DNA paper was burning a hole in my pocket, and Ethan's party was tonight. I kept seeing his smirk, hearing his voice. You're not real, family. By morning, my coffee was bitter and my nerves were shot. Ava texted me, "You got this. Make him choke on it." I wanted to believe her, but my hands wouldn't stop shaking. What was I about to do? Blow up everything? Or just take back what was mine? I didn't know anymore. I just knew I was done hiding. The estate was lit up like a movie set when I pulled up. Cars lined the driveway, fancy ones, the kind Ethan sold to his rich clients. I parked my beat-up hatchback at the end, feeling like I was sneaking into a world that didn't want me. Inside, the place was packed. Chandeliers sparkled, waiters weaved through with champagne, and some jazz band played too loud. Ethan was in the middle, laughing, glass raised, looking like he'd already won. Sienna was next to him, all diamonds and fake smiles, nodding at people I didn't recognize. My stomach twisted. This was his victory lap? Before he even had the prize? I stayed by the wall at first, clutching my bag, the DNA results folded inside. Nobody noticed me, which was fine. I wasn't here to mingle. Clara was there, near the bar, her eyes catching mine for a second. Did she know what I'd taken? I couldn't tell. My heart was hammering so hard I thought I'd pass out. Then Ethan started talking, loud enough to hush the room and to the legacy I'll carry on. People clapped. Sienna beamed. I felt sick. Legacy? He wasn't even Dad's son. I don't know what pushed me. Maybe Ava's voice in my head, maybe years of swallowing his crap, but I stepped forward. My legs were jelly, but I kept going, right into the center of the room. "Wait," I said, louder than I meant. Heads turned, Ethan's smile froze. "What you doing?" he hissed, stepping closer. I pulled the DNA results from my bag, hands trembling but steady enough. My voice shook, but I didn't care. "You're not his son, Ethan. I am." The room went dead silent, like pin drops silent. Then Sienna laughed, sharp and fake. "Then absurd," she snapped. "Get her out of here." But I kept going, reading the results aloud. 0% match for Ethan, 100% for me. People gasped. Someone dropped a glass. It shattered somewhere behind me. Ethan's face went white, then run, like he couldn't decide whether to scream or run. "You're lying," he spat, grabbing for the paper. I yanked it back. "It's real," I said. "Ask Clara." Clara stepped forward, calm as ever, but her eyes were sharp. "The document is authentic," she said. "Henry ordered the tests years ago." Then she pulled out another folder. The will. My knees nearly buckled. She read it right there, voice clear, cutting through the whispers. "To my daughter, my entire estate, house business, accounts, no mention of Ethan, not a word." "This is fraud," she yelled, pointing at me. "She's a nobody." But nobody was listening to her anymore. The room was buzzing, people staring at Ethan like he was a stranger. He lunged at me, eyes wild. "You'll pay for this," he growled, so close I could smell his cologne. I didn't flinch. For the first time, I wasn't scared of him. "I already have," I said, quiet but firm. "My whole life." He backed off, breathing hard, then stormed out, shoving past a waiter. Sienna ran after him, sobbing, her heels clicking like gunfire. The party was over. Guests shuffled out, whispering, avoiding my eyes. Clara touched my arm. "You okay?" she asked. I nodded, but I wasn't. Not really. I drove to Ava's after, my hands tight on the wheel. She opened the door, grinning. "You did it! You freaking did it!" She hugged me, but I just stood there, numb. I'd won, right? Ethan was humiliated, the will was mine, millions, the house, everything, so why did I feel like crap? I kept seeing his face, that split second before he broke, like he was a kid again, not the jerk who'd hurt me forever. Was that weird to feel bad for him? Ava poured me a drink, but I didn't touch it. "Talk to me," she said. I tried, but my throat was tight. "It's done," I said finally. "But it doesn't feel done." Later, alone in my car, I pulled out Dad's letter again. That line kept looping in my head. "I'm sorry, Rose." Sorry for what? For Ethan? For not telling me? For leaving me to fight this alone? I leaned my head on the steering wheel, rain tapping the windshield. The will was mine, but so was this guilt, this ache. What now? I had no idea. All I knew was Ethan wasn't done with me. The high from the party didn't last. I thought exposing Ethan would feel like freedom, but it just left me restless. 2 days later, I woke up to my phone buzzing like crazy, notifications everywhere, texts, emails, even freaking Twitter. Ethan wasn't done, not by a long shot. He'd posted online, calling me a liar, a thief, a nobody who faked a DNA test to steal his fortune. Comments piled up, strangers tearing me apart. Gold digger, one said. Pathetic, said another. My chest tightened. Was this what winning felt like? It got worse. I left my apartment that morning and found my car with 4 slashed tires. No proof it was Ethan, but come on, who else? I stood there, rain soaking my hoodie, staring at the damage. I wanted to scream. Why couldn't he just stop? I called Ava, voice shaking. "He's trying to bury me," I said. She was pissed. "He's scared, Rose. Hit back harder." But I wasn't backing down either. By noon, I heard from Clara. Ethan had filed a lawsuit claiming the DNA results were forged and the will invalid. Sienna was bankrolling it, hiring some hotshot lawyer who looked like he charged by the syllable. I sat in Clara's office, head spinning. "Can he win?" I asked. She frowned. "It's weak, but he's loud, and loud can be enough." I gripped the armrests. Loud, making me feel small, invisible. Not this time. I went home and opened my laptop. If Ethan wanted a fight, I'd fight dirty too. I'm a journalist, right? Digging's what I do. I started with his social media smug posts about deals, clients, money. Something felt off. He was too flashy, even for him. Ava came over, bringing tacos and her hacker vibe. "Let's crack this jerk," she said, cracking her knuckles like we were in a movie. "We didn't hack. Nothing illegal, I swear. But we poked around, emails, public records, anything tied to Dad's company." Hours later, we found it. Bank transfers. Shady ones. Ethan had been funneling cash from Dad's accounts to his own for years. Thousands, hundreds of thousands, siphoned off like it was nothing. I stared at the screen, heart pounding. "This is it," I whispered. Ava grinned. "He's toasted." But I wasn't celebrating yet. This wasn't just about winning. It was about ending it. I printed everything, statements, dates, amounts, and called Clara. She met us the next morning, her eyes widening as she flipped through the pages. "This is embezzlement," she said, voice low. "Serious?" I nodded, throat tight. "What now?" She leaned back. "We show him. Tell him to drop the suit, or this goes to the police." My stomach flipped. Police? That was real, permanent. But so was what he'd done. Sarah set up the meeting, neutral ground, a conference room downtown, all glass walls and cold coffee. Ethan showed up, no Sienna, just his lawyer, a guy with too much gel in his hair. Not anger, not his usual smugness. "Fear you wouldn't," he said, voice low. I leaned forward. "Try me." He didn't say another word. His lawyer whispered something and Ethan nodded, slow, like it hurt. They left. Clara turned to me. "It's over." I exhaled, shaky. "Over? Really?" I wanted to believe it, but my gut said Ethan didn't quit that easy. Still, the lawsuit was dropped by evening. No more tweets, no more threats. Just silence. I should have felt good, right? But I didn't. I felt heavy, like I'd won a war I never wanted to fight. That night I drove to Mom's. I hadn't seen her since our fight, when she admitted she knew about Ethan. She opened the door, eyes soft, and I didn't wait, just hugged her. "I'm sorry," she said, voice cracking. "I should have told you." I pulled back, tears stinging. "Why didn't you?" She sighed, sitting on the couch. "Not anymore." "I don't hate you," I said. I needed you. We talked, really talked, for hours. About Dad, about Ethan, about me. It didn't fix everything, but it was a start. I left her place lighter, like I'd shed something. Driving home, rain streaking the windshield, I thought about the money. Millions sitting there, mine. Ethan would have blown it on cars, parties, lies. I didn't want that. I wanted it to mean something. Something Dad never gave me. Something Ethan never took. A purpose. I didn't know what yet, but it was mine to decide. For the first time, I felt in control, not fearless, not perfect, just ready. Ethan was down, but I wasn't naive. He'd hate me forever. Fine. I wasn't here to make him love me. I was here to live. It's been weeks since the lawsuit died, and the silence is weird. No angry texts, no slash tires, nothing. Ethan's gone quiet, and I keep waiting for the other shoe to drop, but it doesn't. I'm sitting in my apartment now, rain tapping the window like always, trying to make sense of it all. I won, didn't I? The money, the house, the truth. It's mine. So why do I feel like I'm still figuring out what that means? I guess that's why I'm writing this. To sort it out. To tell someone, even if it's just the void of the internet. Word got around fast after Ethan backed off. His real estate license? Revoked. Turns out skimming Dad's company wasn't his only shady deal. Clients dropped him, deals fell through, and last I heard he'd left town, somewhere south, maybe California, chasing a fresh start. Sienna stayed behind, still throwing parties, but her invites don't pull the crowd they used to. People talk. They whisper about her son, the one who wasn't really a Walsh. I don't join in. I'm done with that noise. The estate sat empty for a while, this big cold thing I didn't know what to do with. I walked through it one day, my footsteps echoing on marble floors. It felt like a museum, not a home. Dad's office was still there. Desk, books, a photo of me at 5, gapped-toothed and grinning. I cried then. Hard, for the first time since he died. Not for the money or Ethan's lies, but for him. For us. For what we never got to fix. That's when I knew I couldn't keep it like this. It wasn't mine to hoard. I started planning. Something real, something that'd matter. I thought about Mom, raising me alone, scraping by while Dad sent checks from afar. About other women like her, fighting to keep their kids fed, safe, loved. The idea hit me. A center. A place for single moms' childcare, job training, a community. I hired people smarter than me, ones who knew how to make it work. We gutted the estate, turned ballrooms into classrooms, the library into a daycare. It felt right, like giving the place a pulse again. The opening was last week, clear skies for once, like the universe was cutting me a break. I stood on the front steps, a mic in my hand, feeling like I might puke. Showed up, local reporters, families, even some of Dad's old colleagues. Mom was there, eyes shining, squeezing my hand. Ava, too, snapping pics and muttering, "You're a badass!" I laughed, but my throat was tight. I read Dad's letter to the crowd, the one I'd found months ago. "I failed you," he'd written, "but you're stronger than me." My voice cracked, but I kept going. "This is for him," I said, "and for everyone who's ever felt alone." People clapped, louder than I expected. I looked out, half hoping Ethan might show. I'd sent an invite, not sure why. Closure, maybe? He didn't come. After we cut a ribbon, and kids ran through the halls, laughing. Moms toured the rooms, some crying, some smiling like they'd found air after drowning. I watched from the sidelines, a coffee in my hand, feeling okay. Not perfect, not fixed, just okay. That was enough. Later, Ava dragged me to a diner, our old spot. You did something big, she said, stealing my fries. Own it. I smiled small. Trying to. Mom joined us, quieter than usual. I'm proud, she said, and I believed her. We didn't talk about Ethan or Dad. We just ate, laughed, existed. It felt like family. Real family, not the kind you're born into. I'm writing again now, freelancing less frantically. My latest piece went up yesterday, titled Blood and Secrets. It's not about the drama, not really, just what I've learned about trust, about fighting, about letting go. It's getting traction, which is weird. People are messaging me, sharing their own stories. I read them late at night, rain outside, and feel less alone. I don't know if Ethan's read it. I don't know if he hates me or just doesn't care. I'm trying not to care either. Looking back, I keep asking myself, was it worth it? The fight, the truth, all of it? I think so. Not because I got the money or because Ethan lost, because I found something. Me. The me who doesn't flinch when someone tries to make her small. The me who can build something good out of something broken. Dad's letter is on my desk now, not hidden in a box. I don't read it much, but it's there. A reminder. I don't need his sorry to keep going. I'm still figuring out what's next. The center's running, but there's more to do, more people to help, more stories to write. Ava's pushing me to date, which, yeah, maybe someday. For now, I'm good. Rain still falling outside, softer tonight. I'm curled up with a blanket, typing this, wondering if anyone I'll read it. If you are, thanks for listening. I don't know if I got it all right, but I got it honest. That's what matters, isn't it? Family's not blood. It's who stays, who fights with you, who sees you when you're invisible. I've got that, and I'm holding on tight. If this hit close to home, hit subscribe, drop a comment, and let's talk. I'm here, and I listen.